Hello, and welcome to the Forbes article like Friday on AI Cafe Conversation. This is your extra flavor of the week, your Friday episode, your weekly dose of executive AI insights in under 15 minutes. I'm Sahar, I'm your AI whisperer, and if you're new here, Forbes article like Fridays work a little differently from our main Wednesday episodes. Every Friday, I publish an episode exploring human-centered AI leadership that I bring an article like that I might have shared on my Forbes Coach Council to life through a conversation using another AI, NotebookLM, to create a dynamic discussion between two AI hosts who unpack the key insights. It's a fascinating way to hear ideas come alive. My ideas come alive. And I love how it makes the content more accessible for busy executives. Today's topic is one that has been on my mind constantly while working with leadership teams, the progression illusion. Here is the question I want you to sit with. Is your AI strategy real or is it theater? Because here is what I see everywhere. Organizations invest millions in AI training, completion rates hit 95%. Pilots succeed. Dashboards look impressive. Board presentations are glowing. Everything seems like progress. But when I ask executives what actually changed in your business this quarter because of AI, crickets, silence. That's the progress illusion. You're doing AI activities, meetings, trainings, pilots, governance, frameworks, but you are not producing AI outcomes. Decisions haven't changed. Speed hasn't increased. Your business operates the same way it did before the AI investment. In today's article, I break down 3 symptoms of the progress illusion that show up in 87% of organizations. I explain why it happens. Spoiler, it's the conviction lag we talked about on Wednesday. And most importantly, I give you a 4-question diagnostic you can use in your next leadership meeting to see if your organization is stuck. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to let you listen to the Notebook LLM conversation that unpacks this article. 2 AI hosts will discuss the frameworks, debate the implication, and pull out the insights that matter most for executives. Then I'll come back at the end with my final thoughts on what this means for you as a leader and what to do about it. All right, let's give it a listen.
Okay, let's talk about a situation that honestly feels incredibly common right now for executives. Picture this. Your board, they've been great, right? Poured millions into AI over the last, say, 18 months.
Big budgets.
Exactly. And you've done the work, the data pipes are humming, the dashboards look amazing, and your teams, they've aced the training, like 95% completion rates on the new AI tools.
Sounds great on paper.
Right. You even nailed 3 pilot programs, got standing ovations, the whole deal, at the last leadership offsite.
The successful pilots. Classic.
But then you look at the actual business, this quarter's results. And deep down, you know, nothing's really changed in how the core operation runs, nothing fundamental.
That feeling right there, that quiet gap between the activity and the actual results. That's what we call the progress illusion.
The progress illusion. Okay.
Yeah, it's this really uncomfortable spot where companies are doing all the things for AI adoption. You know, the strategy docs, the budget lines, the governance committees.
Checking all the boxes.
Perfectly. But they're just not producing real, tangible outcomes in terms of decisions being made differently or faster. It looks like progress, feels like progress, but it's actually just expensive theater.
And that is exactly what we're going to dig into today. We've pulled together a lot of executive insights, some organizational research, really trying to build a diagnostic framework for you. Our goal here is to help you cut through that noise, to figure out, honestly, is your AI strategy actually changing the business, or are you kind of stuck in that illusion mode, running on PowerPoints and good intentions?
Exactly. We want to give you the tools, the specific questions to see if your organization is genuinely acting on AI insights or just, performing the rituals of adoption.
Performing the rituals. I like that. So where do we start? What are the telltale signs?
Well, there are 3 really common symptoms that show up pretty much everywhere when this illusion takes hold. They reveal if you're just performing or actually changing.
Okay, let's unpack those. From a maybe behavioral science angle, where's the first crack usually appear?
It often starts with this huge disconnect. What leadership measures versus what actually moves the needle. Symptom 1 is that high training rate we mentioned.
The 95% completion.
Right, juxtaposed against really, really low actual usage of the tools.
Yeah, I've seen this data. You brag about the 95% training completion, everyone feels good, HR checks the box, but then you look under the hood, and the real usage, maybe 12%, if you're lucky.
It's a classic mistake. Measuring activity like training hours instead of the actual impact, like, are decisions different now?
So people know where the buttons are, theoretically.
Exactly. They know the interface. But look, learning a tool in a couple of hours doesn't build conviction, especially with something complex and, frankly, probabilistic like AI.
Right, you don't trust it yet.
Trust isn't built in a webinar. Real conviction, the kind you need to actually rely on the AI, that only comes through repeated use, successful use over time. Some researchers actually talk about building the neural pathways for trust.
Neural pathways for trust. Wow, okay. That sounds big. Like we're talking about reprogramming the whole company culture almost.
Well, it is a massive change management lift. But framing it that way highlights the core issue. AI adoption isn't fundamentally a tech problem. It's a human trust problem. It's neurological, in a way.
So if people aren't using it consistently, day in, day out,
Then that conviction never forms. And your amazing 95% training rate,
yeah.
it's just vanity data. It confirms compliance, maybe, but not capability or actual change.
Okay, symptom 1. High training, low usage. What's number 2? This one feels like it causes a lot of internal friction.
Oh, definitely. Symptom 2. Pilots succeed, but the rollouts stall indefinitely.
Yes. The pilot was amazing. Saved 30% time in Department X, clear ROI, got that standing ovation you mentioned.
Always the standing ovation.
But then, full rollout time, suddenly it needs more alignment, or let's wait until Q2, we need more bandwidth. The excuses start piling up.
And what's really fascinating, kind of painful here, is the pilot proved the tech works
Right.
in that controlled environment.
Usually with the most enthusiastic people driving it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're champions, the ones who already believed. But the stall, the delay in the broader rollout, that confirms the organization as a whole lacks the conviction. They aren't ready to bet the farm on it enterprise-wide.
So the belief isn't there.
The collective belief isn't there. So, scale fails. It wasn't a tech failure. The pilot proved that. It was a commitment failure, masked by the pilot's success.
Which I guess leads directly into the third symptom. This feels like the most revealing one.
It really is. Symptom 3, the override pattern. This is where AI makes a recommendation and the human in the loop consistently ignores it or overrules it.
Oof. Yeah. Give me some examples.
Okay, think about this. AI suggests a really optimized, maybe counterintuitive pricing change to boost revenue. But the finance team goes, whoa, hold on, let's validate that manually first.
And suddenly 3 weeks vanish into meetings and spreadsheets.
Exactly. The AI's main advantage speed completely gone, neutralized.
Or the classic sales example. AI flags a longtime customer as high risk, but the rep says, no way. I know this customer, been with them 20 years. The algorithm doesn't get the relationship. Override.
That's a perfect one.
Ah.
Or HR gets a great data-backed hiring recommendation from the AI system, but they still insist on adding 3 rounds of traditional subjective interviews. Just to be sure.
Just to be sure. That phrase probably keeps a lot of consultants busy.
You bet.
Yeah.
So that systematic overruling, that's the key pattern.
But hang on, is there a line? I mean, AI isn't perfect. Sometimes you should override it, right? How much is too much?
That's a great question. The research actually gives us a pretty stark threshold, 40%.
40.
40%. If your teams are overriding the AI's recommendations more than 40% of the time, you're basically not using AI for transformation anymore.
You're just using humans with extra steps.
You're using human judgment with a very expensive, very slow validation layer. The AI isn't a decision engine. It's become just an advisor, a fancy suggestion box.
Wow. Okay, so those are the symptoms. High training, low use, pilot succeed, rollout stall, and the 40% override pattern. Why does this happen? What's the root cause of this progress illusion?
Right, let's get to the why. The fundamental reason behind all this is something we call the conviction lag.
Conviction lag. Sounds technical, but you're saying it's a human issue.
Entirely. Think about it like this.
Yeah.
AI capabilities, they're growing exponentially. Models get smarter, faster, cheaper, literally month by month. It's a steep upward curve.
Moore's law for AI, basically.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But organizational conviction, human trust in these complex systems, that grows linearly, slowly, cautiously, built brick by brick through small, repeated wins over a long time.
Ah, okay, so there's this widening gap.
Exactly. The gap between exponential tech capability and linear human conviction, that's the space where the progress illusion lives and breathes.
And that gap gets wider because different parts of the organization aren't even on the same page about what AI is for.
That compounds it, absolutely. You've got marketing seeing it as maybe an automation tool for posts and basic content.
While finance sees it purely for deep risk analysis, demanding total transparency.
And maybe operations is just saying, hold on, let's wait for the regulations to catch up before we deploy anything critical. Total misalignment on the goal.
So when you try to deploy something,
Nobody agrees on its role. Is it an assistant, a recommender, or is it actually making the decision? That ambiguity creates drag right from the start.
and that feeds into this awful cycle the research talks about, the resistance spiral.
That's it, the resistance spiral. It starts with, natural skepticism from employees. Does this thing really work?
Understandable.
Totally. But that skepticism leads them to use the AI cautiously, tentatively. They use it, but they double-check everything manually.
Which means they're not really getting the efficiency gains.
Right. And cautious use often leads to suboptimal results because
Right.
the AI isn't being used as intended, maybe not enough data, not enough trust in the output.
So the poor results then.
Reinforce the initial skepticism. See? I told you it wasn't that good.
Oh.
Which leads to even less usage, worse results. And down the spiral you go until everyone concludes, yeah, AI just doesn't work for us in our context.
Even though the hard truth is.
The tech was probably fine. The constraint wasn't the algorithm or the data or the computing power. It was the organization's lack of conviction, which is why any real solution has to focus there, on conviction, not just code.
Okay, this is critical. So let's make it really practical. You mentioned a diagnostic framework. What are the questions leaders need to be asking right now?
All right, 4 key questions. Take these into your next leadership meeting. Question 1, decision velocity.
Decision velocity.
The question is, what was the last specific AI recommendation we actually acted on across the whole enterprise? And crucially, how long did it take from the moment we got that insight to the moment we took action?
Ooh, that's sharp. So if you can't immediately name a concrete, significant example.
You're probably in the illusion. And even if you can name one, focus on the timeline. Was it days or
Yeah.
weeks,
Where?
months?
Because if it took, say, more than 2 weeks.
You've lost the core benefit, speed. AI's advantage is making good decisions fast. Slow conviction means endless meetings about the decision. Fast conviction means action. Decision velocity is probably the single best predictor of actual transformation.
So stop just tracking model accuracy in a lab.
Yes, start tracking time from AI insight to action. Put that KPI on the main dashboard right next to revenue and customer sat. It forces the cultural shift you need.
Okay, velocity is question 1. What's number 2?
Question 2 goes back to that override issue. Ask, how often are we overriding AI recommendations? And when we do override, what's the documented pattern? Why are we doing it?
This needs brutal honesty, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Look, sometimes overrides are smart. The AI was wrong, the data was bad. Fine. But you need to differentiate. Are we overriding because the AI factually failed? Or are we overriding because the human is just uncomfortable, scared to let go?
Overriding based on data versus overriding based on fear.
Precisely. And if you see that pattern hitting or exceeding the 40% threshold we talked about, your multi-million-dollar AI investment isn't transforming anything. It's just a very fancy, very expensive report generator, validating what humans were going to do anyway.
Got it. Question 3.
Question 3 is about mapping the human landscape. We call it trust gradients. Ask, which departments or teams trust AI the most? Which ones resist it the most? And what's actually causing that gap in trust?
Trust mapping. Okay, so it's not one size fits all.
Definitely not. You can't treat AI adoption like a single project. You need to literally map out where conviction is high and where skepticism runs deep. Think about this scenario. Marketing loves a new generative AI tool. They trust it maybe 80%, using it all the time.
Okay.
But legal, who has to approve the outputs, they're stuck at 10% trust. They haven't seen enough proof. They're worried about risks.
So the whole process gets bottlenecked?
Exactly. The organization doesn't move at the average speed of 45%. It moves at the speed of the slowest, most critical believer, in this case, legal, at 10%. Transformation dies in that trust gap. You have to see the map to fix it.
Makes sense. And the final diagnostic question, number 4.
Question 4 looks long-term. It's about conviction infrastructure. Ask, what formal systems, processes, or rituals do we have in place specifically to build conviction in AI, not just train people on how to use the tool?
So distinguishing between training skills and building trust.
Critically important distinction. If the answer is just, oh, we have a great online training module, that's not enough. Training teaches the how. Conviction infrastructure normalizes the use and trust of AI in daily decisions. It's about building new organizational habits.
What does that look like, practically? Examples.
Think small, consistent, mandatory rituals, like weekly AI retrospectives, short meetings where teams openly discuss what worked with AI that week and what didn't. No blame, just learning.
Okay, public learning.
Yes. Or C-suite leaders actively, publicly demonstrating how they are using AI for important decisions. Showing, not just telling. Maybe cross-functional AI councils that aren't just about governance, but about sharing success stories and evidence across silos to reduce that uncertainty. You can't just hope conviction appears. You have to actively build the infrastructure for it.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the illusion using these 4 questions: velocity, overrides, trust gradients, infrastructure. Now, how do we actually break out of it? How do we fix the conviction problem?
Right, the fix. And the first step is often really counterintuitive. It's stop adding more AI tools.
Wait, really? Don't add more tech?
For now, yes. If you're seeing these symptoms, you don't have a technology gap. You have an organizational conviction gap. Throwing more models at it will just create more expensive dashboards with low usage rates. You need to fix the human system first.
Okay, so if not more tools, then what? What are the actions?
3 core actions, all focused on closing that conviction lag. First, make decision velocity a highly visible, rewarded KPI. We talked about tracking time from AI insight to action. Put it on the main leadership dashboard. Celebrate speed. Make it part of the culture.
Make speed a value, not just a feature.
Okay.
Second,
Start building that conviction infrastructure immediately. Don't wait for some perfect moment of universal alignment. Start small. Pick one simple weekly ritual, like those AI retrospectives focused purely on normalizing the conversation about AI outcomes, good and bad. Remember, conviction builds neurologically through repetition and shared experience, not through big bang announcements.
build the habit. Got it. And third,
You absolutely must audit your alignment assumptions. Now, get your key leaders, CFO, COO, head of sales, general counsel, etc. in a room. Ask each one to write down anonymously their definition of AI-driven decision-making.
without discussing it first.
Critically without discussion first. What do they really think AI's role is? Does it just assist the human? Does it recommend a course of action? Or does it actually decide?
And you expect the answers will be different.
Almost guaranteed. And when you compare those anonymous definitions, you'll likely see huge gaps in understanding. If your ops lead thinks AI decides, but your legal lead thinks it only assists, that fundamental conflict will undermine every single deployment the moment something gets tricky. Fix that definition before you deploy another model.
That's powerful. Define the terms before you build the house.
You have to, otherwise the foundation is unstable.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What's the main takeaway for everyone listening today? Look, the progress illusion is seductive because it feels so productive. You're busy, lots of meetings, fancy dashboards, new governance committees, maybe consultants involved.
All with activity.
All the activity. But productivity without actual transformation, that's just performance art. It's expensive theater that masks stagnation.
And the executives who break free are the ones who realize AI transformation isn't at its core a technology project you can just buy and plug in. It's fundamentally an organizational conviction project. It's built on understanding those trust gradients and deliberately, consistently building trust through demonstrated value.
So that final thought to leave people with.
Since we know conviction is built neurologically through repetition, through experience, the ultimate bottleneck for AI isn't your budget. It isn't your tech stack. It isn't even your data, really. It's human trust. It's the organization's willingness to actually change its ingrained habits, its neural pathways.
Wow.
So the question you need to ask is, if transformation really is about neuroscience, about rewiring how we think and decide, what old habits of slow validation and deep skepticism do we absolutely need to break? And what new habits focused on trust and velocity do we urgently need to build, starting this week?
Okay, I'm back. I hope this conversation helped crystallize what the progress illusion looks like, and more importantly, whether you are experiencing it in your organization. Let me leave you with the most critical insight. The progress illusion feels productive. You're busy, you're in meetings about AI, you're reviewing dashboards, you're discussing pilot expansions. All that activity creates a powerful sensation of progress. But productivity without transformation is just expensive theater. And here is what makes it so dangerous. Most leadership teams can tell you the difference until millions are gone and competitors have already moved ahead. So here is what I want you to do this week. Take the 4 diagnostic questions from today's article into your next leadership meeting. Write them down. Ask them honestly. Question number 1. What's your decision velocity and how long from AI insight to action? Question number 2. What's your override pattern? How often do you second guess AI recommendations and why? Question number 3. Where are your trust gradients? Which teams believe in AI? Which teams resist it? Question number 4. What conviction infrastructure do we have? Beyond training programs, how are we actually building organizational belief? Be brutally honest with the answers. Nobody else has to see them. Because you can fix a problem you can't see. And the progress illusion survives precisely because it looks like success on the surface. Remember, the executives who break out of the progress illusion are not the ones with better technology. They are the ones who realize AI transformation isn't a technology project. It's an organizational conviction project. If you want to go deeper with the neuroscience of why the conviction lag happens, go back and listen to the Wednesday full episode. I break down the 3 executive brain blocks: the competency freeze, the control spiral, and the certainty trap. It pairs perfectly with today's diagnostic. You can find the full article this conversation was based on in the show notes, or head to my LinkedIn where I share more executive AI insights every week. Next Wednesday, we are diving into another critical topic that executives are facing right now. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. And show me some love. You can email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com. You can try to reach me or find me on LinkedIn under Sahar Andrade. You can reach me on Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. I would love to hear from you. Until then, reminding you, stop performing progress, start producing it. And show me some love. Again, share, subscribe, tell your friends about this podcast. And remember, AI transformation isn't about technology. It's about neuroscience, first and foremost. Plain and simple. Center to everything that we're doing. This is Sahar, your AI whisperer. I'm out of here.